Hello everybody, hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. How's it going? How's it going this afternoon? I thought we'd do a bit of a live stream. I'm doing it, well at least I've set it up similarly to, I get it set up on my own channel. So yeah, obviously we're a bit early from starting Game Week 19 yet, because we've only had one night of Game Week 18 stuff so far. And obviously Game Week 19 deadline is now Saturday, so there's still, what, 6 games left to come for Game Week 18? Sorry, 6 teams, 3 fixtures. We've had half of Game Week 18. We'll see how the internet holds up. It's probably going to be quite laggy, I expect. So yeah, I guess there's still going to be some questions and stuff to go through ahead of Game Week 19. And even if the video doesn't hold up, you'll still be able to at least hear me. How is it going anyway? How are you finding Game Week 18 so far? I'd say for some people it's probably been a little bit of a nightmare, depending on who you went for in Game Week 18. Rashford, Martial, Cavani, all blanked. Wilson, blanking. Sheffield United clean sheet. Only 1 goal for United, nothing for Sice. 2 goals for Everton. Hasn't quite gone how we imagined so far. Yeah, the stream's going to be the stream's going to be a bit laggy, but the audio shouldn't be. We just have to go with it, roll with it, and hope for the best. Yeah, it's bad. Probably losing my job and double game week is met. Well, I hope the job situation gets better. That's obviously more important than double game week. Okay, let's see. Okay, everyone always just wants to talk about game week 19 already, which makes sense. It is a game week 19 Q&A after all. Let's have a look. Where was Lindelof? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Solskjaer, I think what Solskjaer said before was that Lindelof had trained, and he didn't. I don't think he really said much about Bayern. I can't remember exactly what was said in the press conference, but yeah, sorry, Rashford didn't blank. You're right. He got 1 assist, no bonus. 6 points though, not bad. Same as the defenders. Apart from Shaw, he got bonus points. Yeah, I think what was I even talking about then? I've lost my train of thought already because I got the Rashford thing wrong. Oh, Lindelof, yeah, and then all of a sudden, Lindelof apparently had a reaction or felt something before the game. And so he missed out, and Bailly played. So, what's going to happen going forward? I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. If you've got Lindelof, it's a bit of a worry. Man United are top. Yes, we should definitely mention that. Okay, what else is on here? Is Cancelo a safe pick for the double game? I think he's about as safe as it gets. I mean, he's not Diaz levels of safe, but safe enough. I guess see what happens in Game Week 18. If he starts again after, Pep was saying he needs to, what was he saying? Like learn how they play or something. It was weird. And then he was saying hopefully he'll play. I'm sure he will. But yeah, I think Cancelo's about as safe as it gets. Not completely safe, but safe enough. I've got him. I'm happy enough with him, to be honest. What's my plans for 18? Well, hopefully I can roll the transfer in Game Week 20. Potentially do Saka to Grealish. But we'll see. Let's get Game Week 19 out of the way first. But ultimately, I need to get some money off my bench eventually. Is Ings an option for the double? He is an option. How good of an option, though? I don't really fancy him. I think the Leeds game is pretty good, but the thing is, will that Leeds game even be on? If Leeds versus Southampton gets called off, then neither Leeds nor Southampton are good options, right? Let me just see, when did he... Oh, well, that's not good. Could have been worse things to pop up there. Not that I would have worse things up on my computer, of course. How long has he played? He's only played the last 2 game weeks, so it's hard to kind of look at him. We can have a look at him over the season, though. Hang on, I've got the members area up, so we won't be looking at it for everything, but we can look at it for a little bit of stuff. So let me just. I'm getting up on my other screen a sec. So give me just a second, and I'll have it up for you all to see. For Danny Ings, this is. Where is the stuff I want? Expected stats. Okay, where is Danny Ings? Yeah, here we go. He's okay. He's not had a great season so far compared to last year. Let's see if this works. Okay, this is the members area. So if you've not ever checked out the Fantasy Football Scout members area, there is a link in the description below. if you want to check it out if you're not already a member. I'm not going to check absolutely everything, but we'll check bits and bobs. So this is basically expected stats for forwards per 90 minutes. So obviously he has been injured recently, but he's played the last 2, so he is back. So this is listed by expected goal involvement per 90. Now some players are on here like Sharp. They've obviously not played many minutes, right? Vardy up here is super high. This does include penalties as well. Lacazette is 4th. Ings is like all the way down here. Ings is 0.44, which isn't bad, but like it's only slightly better than Chris Wood, who everyone seems to hate. Only just slightly better than Richarlison. It's worse than Werner, Rodrigo, Antonio, Martial, Firmino, Abraham, Aguero, if he was going to play, Watkins. I think Ings is an okay option, but it doesn't really... I wouldn't be going out of my way to get him, but that's just my opinion. But I don't fancy it all that much, Danny Ings, to be honest. Because I think they play... I've got to remind myself of the fixtures. Yeah, it's Leicester, isn't it, the first game? And the second game might not even be on. Relieved I didn't captain Fernandes. Yeah, that was... The problem with Burnley is they are... Like, Man United did have chances to score more than one. Like, that could have been a 3 or a 4-0, but it wasn't. And it was just a 1-0. And, like, you kind of expect that at times against Burnley. So, yeah, Fernandes, captain blank. I don't think it's completely out of the question, but it would have been nice if you got something. I thought Pogba was brilliant last night. Wood with 2 games versus Ings for 1. Yeah, I'd probably back Wood just about. Best thing that can happen for Chris Wood is to wipe out the Liverpool clean sheet. That would make my game week. Yeah, Antonio, is he a legit option? What's the news on him? So I haven't seen any further news about any injuries. Obviously, he played 15 minutes off the bench, then 30 minutes off the bench. And then from the FA Cup, he played 90. So they didn't... I think they brought him off just before the rest of added time. So he played 90 minutes. And I have not seen anything about him being injured. So if he starts the next 2 games, which he could do, like who else are they going to play there? I know they could play Bowen, they could play Yarmolenko, etc. But David Moyes is going to want to play Antonio. He's their only real option up front now. So Burnley at home, West Brom at home. I think that's really good. So I'll be looking to bring him in. Look, at the end of the day, there's certain players that are a risk, and is Antonio a risk because of his injury record? I think it was hamstring injury. Then yeah, of course. But if he starts both games, gets 60 to 70 minutes in both, Antonio is a bit of a legend. So yeah, I like him. Someone asked me what am I... have I got no faith in Salah? Salah will almost certainly be coming in for me. I think Son and Kane will go for Antonio and Salah, and that'll give me about 3 million in the bank or something like that, because I've got a bit of money left over. So that'll let me do Saka to Grealish at some point probably. But yeah, I like... The only downside to Antonio really is the injury record. I think so many people have had him in their teams if he hadn't been injured, right? There's always players like that. As soon as they're back fit, you want them in. But of course, there's always the worry that because he's only just back, he's only played 190 minutes, that he might miss out. But I think, for me, he's not taken up like 10, 11 million pounds of your budget. He's taken up 6.2 million. It's well worth the risk. So that's how I'm going to get Salah back. Fernandes is a risk, 1 card away from a ban. Yeah, look, I tell you what's going to happen now. A lot of us who are very aware of Fernandes on 4... By the way, it's not just Fernandes on 4 yellow cards. Shaw is on 4 yellows and Maguire as well. So I think those of us that are like engaged and aware of this are probably going to not captain him now. And he's probably going to be the highest scorer. And it's the Diego Costa effect. I tweeted about this earlier. Diego Costa, a good few seasons ago at Chelsea, some of us who didn't own him while he was doing super well, because he was close to 5 yellows, and he just carried on not getting yellow carded and scoring plenty of goals. So I wouldn't let it put me off bringing Fernandes in or playing him, but I wasn't going to captain him anyway, so it hasn't really changed things for me. But if you really wanted to be risk adverse, you could just not bring him in this week. But knowing how good he is. The only thing is, when Pogba plays, and I do think it would be harsh to drop Pogba now, like McTominay and Fred are almost certainly going to start versus Liverpool, so it depends. It'd be tough, I think, to slot Pogba in but he may do anyway. I think when Pogba plays, Fernandes is not less of a threat, but he has to do kind of less of the work, I suppose, the less of the creative work. Grealish is on 4 yellow cards as well. Yes, he is, but I mean, he might not even play his game against Everton, right? And the other game's against Man City, so it's not even that good a double, really. The Costa curse. Everyone remembers it. I just every week. Now I'm not getting him. He's on 4 yellow cards. I'll just wait till he gets that 5th yellow. And it was like weeks. I don't even think he got it. I don't think he ever got that. He may have got the 5th yellow, but I don't think he got it before the cut-off for when you get up to 10. Okay, what else have we got? Bruno anyway will have effective ownership more than 100%, so you'll want to blank anyway unless captain. Yeah, fair point. Yeah, okay, so some people are asking about the latest news on the games. I don't have any latest news, basically. I have whatever was up after yesterday. So what is it? The first game, Villa versus Everton, that seems to be under threat. I can't imagine they would go all the way through to the Man City game and still have to call that off. That'd be 3 games in a row then. City versus Villa is not till the 20th of January, so it's a week from today. And Villa have already been not playing for how long now? They didn't play in 18. So did they play... They played against Man United on the 1st of January. So by the time the Man City game comes, it's going to be 19 days later. You'd think that that would be enough time to get out an 11. Whether or not it'll be a good 11 or not, in some ways it makes me more wanting to captain De Bruyne, because if he's going to play against a weakened Villa or a Villa that haven't been able to train properly, it seems like quite a good fixture. But I guess by the time Game Week 19 deadline comes, it could be risky to do it. And because Fernandes on 4 yellows, it'll probably just default to Salah. So there's a lot up in the air. The other thing is the Leeds versus Southampton game, of course. And that one we don't know. We don't know about Leeds versus Southampton. The thing with their game is it doesn't really affect either team to postpone it because they're not in Europe. So they're going to have plenty of time to rearrange that without kind of majorly messing up their schedule or anything. So I think there is probably a good chance to do it. If they can get that FA Cup match played, they'll probably just do it. I can't really think of a good reason why Leeds or Southampton would be against postponing their fixture. If anything, it gives Leeds a bit of a rest, right? And they just get to play that midweek game later on in the season. So, yeah, I think there is a chance that Leeds versus Southampton gets called off. Would that stop me bench boosting if I had lots of Leeds players? Possibly not. If I had Southampton players, it might be a bit different because their only other game is Leicester. But Leeds at least have Brighton at home. And I think if you've built to the benches or if you've just wildcarded especially, it might be a good time. If you've used your free hit, it might not be the worst time to still bench boost, because when you wildcard later on, if you also try and build to the bench boost without a free hit, it could be difficult to kind of navigate your 9. But until we know more of the fixtures, it's hard to say that. So I think it depends which players you've got, really. Can't believe you got rid of Dallas. I know. I went for John Stones instead. I love Dallas. I'm sure Dallas will punish me in the double game week, right? If he plays twice, but yeah, it sucks because he's really attacking. But he's cheap. I can always get him back, right? Okay, let's see what else we got here. Shea Adams is shocking even when fit. I wouldn't say he's shocking. He's had a really good season, to be fair, but I don't know. It just felt like Southampton was slowing down a little bit. They're still very good defensively, but attacking wise, I'm just I don't know. I mean, I could have kept Shea Adams and had a lot more points, to be fair, but they're just not floating my boat at the moment. And I think the double against Leeds it's okay. I'm just not so sure Southampton are gonna do what kind of Liverpool and Chelsea and United, etc., and Spurs have done to them. So yeah, if I had Southampton attackers, I don't think I would necessarily look to transfer them out, of course, but I wouldn't be necessarily bringing them in. What do I expect from today's Man City vs Brighton? Hopefully a clean sheet and about three goals or so, I reckon. I think City will be fine. I don't see City scoring any less than kind of 3. I think they get 3 or more. We'll see. I mean, I said this on a video or stream. I can't remember which one, to be honest. But Brighton's defensive numbers are actually quite good. But this is Man City they're playing. It's tricky. Is De Bruyne essential this game? Nah, no one's essential. But, I mean, he is very good, I would say. He's very good. Let's have a look. Is Vardy a safe pick? What do you mean by safe? What do you mean by safe? I think the thing with Vardy is he's had a bit of a rest, so he should be fine. But I wonder if he can play those 2 games in quick succession. He should be able to, I'd say, because he's had this break. But maybe Rodgers will give us... Because no one's going to ask Rodgers, are they? Can you play... Not before the deadline. There's a lot of money. And one of the games is Chelsea, isn't it? I keep forgetting who's got the doubles. Obviously, I don't know. It depends what you mean by safe, really. He's been great this season. So he's certainly not a bad option. You need to caps lock. You need to bring in. Cresswell. I'm not sure Cresswell is really a need. I mean, I've got Sofal. I wouldn't have minded Cresswell, but obviously, for me, this is a wildcard team, so I had to think about Game Week 18 as well. How many points minimum is needed from the bench on bench boost? I think you want 16 to 20 plus. I think if you get over 20, I think you should probably be happy with it. Like, I look at mine, could be struggling. I think obviously it depends a lot on what Arsenal do to Newcastle. If Arsenal keep a clean sheet and all my bench play, then I'd be hopeful of getting 20 plus, maybe 16 plus. Martinez is probably going to only have 1 fixture. That's the problem, and it's against Man City. And yeah, I mean, do I expect a goal from Burnley in either of those 2 games? Not really, but he is on penalties. He does usually play 70 to 90 minutes, so he ain't bad. But I think I just have to roll with it now. I have to roll with the bench boost. So I can't put it off really because I don't want to necessarily have to hold that much money on my bench for so long. I'm just going to start banning people who just spam rather than give timeouts. Just a word of warning. What about Antonio captain? Yeah, I think captain-wise, I mean, if you're looking for the normal picks that most people are going to go for, it's going to be Fernandes, De Bruyne, Salah. Antonio, look, it's a great differential captain, I think. I genuinely think if you're going a bit different this week, Antonio, Pulisic, Werner, maybe Vardy, single game week, Kane or Son. I like the Antonio punt on captain. I don't think I could go there myself. I think if he'd played like 4, 5, 6 games up to like 90 minutes in a row, and he looked like he was somewhat injury free, then yeah, maybe I would consider it slightly. But let's be honest, I'm always going De Bruyne, Fernandes, or Salah at the moment. Yeah, obviously there's some questions coming in that we've kind of already gone over. We don't know any more about Leeds versus Southampton, but it could be postponed. The reports that I've read say they're kind of both open to doing it, and like I said just a minute ago, none of the European games, so it's not going to hugely matter to have to do it again. How many hits are worth it for a decent bench boost? I mean, obviously it's going to depend on what the players are you're bringing in. Like, just think of it like this. If we're saying that 16 to 20 points is decent, and you have to take 8 points or even 12 points to get to that, then you're already wiping off like half of the goodness. That's really bad word, but you know what I mean. So if you don't also want to keep those players long term, I'd probably avoid it. Where it gets a little bit different is if you've built to the bench boost and you've used your free hit or you've used your wild card already, then you've kind of committed to it. In some situations, you might be able to get out of it. You could still say in week 26 if you got your wild card free, even without a free hit, and just hope you can get through 29. But it is, yeah, bench boost is annoying because a lot of people have built towards it and now potentially can't do it. So yeah, I think -8 I would maybe consider, depending on who the players are you're bringing in. When you start getting to like -12s and more, that's a lot of hope pinned on those players you're bringing in. And chances are you don't have a huge amount of money to spend on the bench if you haven't already built for it. I think McCarthy's back. I think I saw a tweet saying he was back in training. Let me check the scout Twitter. Let me see. Yeah, following a period of isolation, Southampton goalkeeper Alex McCarthy has returned to training ahead of Saturday's game at Leicester. Someone asked me earlier if there's any 4 million keepers likely to play in Game Week 19. I don't think so. But Forster, I suppose, he did quite well in that game against... who was it against last week? Oh, yeah, against Liverpool, of course. They won. God, I forgot that Liverpool lost that game. Yeah, Forster was quite good in that game. So if McCarthy's not quite up to scratch, like up to fitness, then he could play in Game Week 19. But will he play both games? That's the thing. McCarthy is back. If you've got McCarthy, it looks good that he's back in training. And McCarthy hasn't really put a foot wrong this year. In fact, he's been quite good. So it would be harsh to drop him. Now he's finished isolating. So I wouldn't bank on Fabianski too much. Edison's back. Yeah, I don't think Stefan's really an option. As soon as Edison's available, he's going to be in that team, isn't he? We'll see tonight if he's in. Should I still bench with Leeds, Southampton, Villa, and Everton players like was planned before the chaos? Yeah, I think if your whole bench boost is Leeds, Southampton, Villa, and Everton, that does make it tricky because, like, having. I mean, personally, I don't really mind a single game week bench boost, and this season is kind of, for me, it's had to work that way. But the thing is, if Villa have only got one game, it's May, which isn't ideal. Like, Villa have been good, but we don't know what Villa team we're going to get back and what state they're going to be in, how much they've been able to train at home for anyone that wasn't suffering, etc. And with Leeds, it wouldn't be too bad because it's Brighton at home. But with Southampton, it'd just be Leicester away. So it's not ideal. So it's going to depend a lot on chip situation and stuff like that. Is Struik good for the... Or it's not Struik, is it? But you know what I mean, the cheap Leeds defender. I've probably pronounced that wrong. I don't think he's guaranteed to start. I think it's all going to depend on who's back for... who's back centre-back wise. Like, I think... I think Cooper is one of the centre-backs. And also, yeah, Llorente is 75% chance of playing. I don't know. I'd wait for the press conference. If they're kind of back, then Alien moves to right back, Dallas back to left back, and suddenly Struik's out of the team. I mean, he could play further forward, I guess, but I don't think he's necessarily a nailed option. What is your plan with Martinez for the double game at keep or sell? I'm going to have to keep him. The reason he's in my team, I took the risk on wildcard that he would carry on playing. Or sorry, that he would be back for the double. If he isn't, it's annoying, but things really. So I will keep him because after this, he's got 3. If the Everton game gets called off, that means Villa have 3 games to rearrange. That's 3 double game weeks for Martinez. So I just want him in my team. I haven't got. For me, it's a bit different. I've not got a wild card now, so I've got to think about things like that. I can hold Martinez long term. They got some quite good fixtures from 20 onwards. So as long as they start playing from game week 20, I'm okay. If they play the Man City game, I'm okay with that too. And then there's three games to rearrange at some point. So, yeah, we'll see. Do I think it's time to stop targeting Fulham? I mean, it's a fair point, right? Their last 6 games, they conceded 2 to City, 1 to Leicester, 1 to Liverpool, none to Brighton, 1 to Newcastle, and none to Southampton. They do seem to have tightened up. For me, I want to see how they play against Spurs. Because I don't really trust Spurs as an attacking team at the moment. And if Spurs put a few past them, then I might not be too worried about Fulham going forward. Whether or not they're whipping boys now, I'd probably not. But I don't think they're necessarily a team we should avoid attackers against. But I'll reassess after the Spurs game tonight. And then see. Any keepers for under 5.2, not Meslier? What, for game week 19? I mean, the 2 best... Well, the best is probably Fabianski at West Ham. The second best is probably, just due to fixtures, probably Mendy, Chelsea. You've obviously got Johnston at West Brom, but Areola at Fulham, but they haven't got good fixtures. Ideal free hit draft. I've actually got a video on that on my channel coming out later. I won't go through complete free hit drafts now. How many single game week players for a bench boost to be pointless? If you've got 4 single game week players, I wouldn't say that's pointless. Obviously, as with everything double game week, you're always, if a team's got more than 1 game, there's more chance of points, right? That makes sense. But if you've got 4 single game week players and you've kind of used your wild card, for example, I would probably still go for it. Like, I've potentially got 3 single game week players. Saka, Holding, and Martinez could just have Man City. And then that's it. It's only Wood with a double. But I'm still okay with that. I think Arsenal versus Newcastle is a pretty good fixture. Like right now, you could say that Newcastle are one of, if not the worst team in the league. Lost to Sheffield United. Like, come on. I know they were down to 10 men. They just offer nothing. Like, I think that's a good fixture for Arsenal. I'm hoping that Holding gets clean. I'm hoping Holding plays. And when Gabriel's back, Holding keeps his place. Yeah, there's not really too much point in me answering any more questions on about whether a match will be postponed. I don't know. I really don't know. If you look at the reports, it sounds likely to me that Everton versus Villa and Leeds versus Southampton could be off, but I don't know. I don't have any more knowledge than you lot. Which two of these four for the double game week? Souček, Antonio, Saka. That's easy, surely. Surely it's not even a debate. Like Souček, Antonio by a mile. Watkins might not even have a second game, 2 games. We don't even know if he's fully fit. We don't know if he's got COVID. We don't know who's going to play. And Saka's only got 1 game. And West Ham's double game week. You prefer Son? I'm not sure who to though. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Why is nobody looking at Chelsea players for the double? I think if you're on a free hit, you would look at Chelsea players. I think for those of us that aren't, it's just difficult to fit them in. Defensively, you've got Mendy and Chilwell and Zuma. I think they're still good options. They have got good fixtures coming. It's just, if you look at most people's setup, like the kind of template picks, it's like, where do you fit in a Pulisic or a Werner or someone like that? I'm not against it. I think Chelsea players could be the kind of differentials this week. But one of the games is Leicester, and that's difficult. And the other one's Fulham, who we've just been talking about, might be a bit more difficult to play as well. So I think sometimes you just get situations like this. It's not that anyone thinks Chelsea are inherently bad or bad picks. It's just the way things are set up. It's just fallen to the point where no one's really picking their attackers. But if Pulisic plays both, I mean, I love Pulisic, so he could be got a Chelsea defender still. You're looking good. I would have tried to if the Villa game was on. Sorry, if Villa had played in Game Week 18, I would have had Chilwell, I think, because it was just easy to fit in. But as soon as Villa got called off and Spurs got Fulham, it was too difficult to hold Chilwell. Saka or Tierney, who should I keep for the double game? I want to sell one to bring a double game week player. I mean, that's going to depend on your long-term plans, isn't it? Right, like if you bring in a defender, how long do you want to keep them for? If you bring in a midfielder, how long do you want to keep them for? Like Saka to Souček's a nice move if you don't already own him, and then you just downgrade Tierney at some point. What's the story with Balbuena? Oh, I've got no idea, but he seems to have lost his place. Could he play one of the games? Could he play both? Maybe, but it looks like the thing is Craig Dawson's come in. I think they've kept 3 clean sheets in a row, and he scored in the FA Cup as well. Like, why would Moyes change it? I just don't think Balbuena's getting back in right now. The thing is, I won't sit here and say that I've watched every single West Ham game in full, but I don't even remember Balbuena doing anything majorly wrong. Like, if there's any West Ham fans in the chat, let me know. But I don't remember them doing anything inherently like bad. I keep saying inherently. I don't remember Balbuena doing anything bad, but for whatever reason, he's lost his place. Maybe I missed a massive mistake by him or something. Randolph at 4.4 looks to be an option with Fabianski likely to be out for a couple of weeks. Where was that said, though? I think Fabianski's back. Back in training, anyway. Let me see. I can't see it here. West Ham, Fabianski, thigh injury, 75% chance of playing. Yeah, I would wait for the press conference. I don't think Fabianski is definitely ruled out of the double game week. If he is, then yeah, okay, Randolph looks like a good option if you're bench boosting. Or sorry, if you're playing a free hit or whatever. But yeah, I think Fabianski might be back. We'll see. Didn't make any mistakes. Yeah, I don't know. He was in self-isolation, was he? Antonio's a far bigger risk than Adams. Getting an injury, maybe, yeah. Scoring points, definitely not. Who are you replacing for Wood and when? Chris Wood will just become a bench option. I'll probably go 3-5-2 and just put bench to Brewster and get some money out. When? Don't know. Not in any rush. Like, there's not really too many players that I can't get to that I would want over the next few weeks. Like, once I do Kane and Son to Salah and Antonio, hopefully Antonio can stay fit, I'll have enough money to do Saka to Grealish, so I don't really have a need to massively get rid of Wood. He doesn't have great... Burnley don't have great fixtures, though. They've got Villa in game week 20, which might not be so bad right now. After that, they're bad. So I wouldn't be going there. What happens if one captains a single game week player during a double game week? Is the captaincy moved to the vice when they don't play the second game? No. As soon as a player steps on the pitch and plays 1 second of football, they are your captain. So if you captain a double game week player and they play for 1 second, they blow the whistle, they kick off, they pull a hamstring from the kick-off, like kicking that ball, and they're off, that's it, they're your captain. Maguire to Cresswell so far for a -4. Worried about him getting a yellow. Now, I wouldn't because, okay, I know the Liverpool game is the one that you're probably not expecting a clean sheet from. But as soon as you take a -4, that is basically the clean sheet. So far, Cresswell would have to get attacking returns, which could happen. But what if Maguire plays both games? Like, he should have had a goal yesterday. Let me know in the chat if you think that Maguire goal should have been ruled out. I feel like, I know he put his arm down, but he was up way high. Like, Peters just didn't have a chance, even without that arm down. But for me, that was a goal. And I didn't even own him. Obviously, I'm a Man United fan, so you could say I'm biased, but yeah, I think I would keep Maguire. If you've got him, I wouldn't necessarily bring him in, but if you've got him, I think I would just keep him, to be completely honest. Imagine pulling your hamstring from the kickoff. Well, wait till you own Antonio for game week 19. That's obviously I'm being extreme in my example, but I'm just kind of trying to point out that you play 1 second, that's your captain, you know. I was surprised by the amount of people that thought it should have been a goal. Like, not because I thought they were wrong, but just I just expected everyone to say Man United shouldn't be a goal. It was funny because I said, like, if I'd free hit, I would have definitely had Maguire 100%. Like, not a question. He would have been the first defender on my team sheet, I think. Yeah, I didn't have him. I had Wan-Bissaka instead. Any replacement for Calvert-Lewin? I mean, for this week, Antonio. Antonio seems like the best Calvert-Lewin replacement, doesn't he? So yeah, I think Antonio. Maybe Bamford if they play twice if you don't already own him, but I expect most people do. Thoughts on avoiding Salah? Scary. That's all I'll say. I think Salah's interesting because you can kind of look at it from two different ways. You can look at it. Let me bring up the fixtures a sec. So I was looking at this myself. You could say that they play Spurs, Man City and Leicester in the 5 fixtures after 19. But you could also look at it and say from game week 19 to 22, so 4 game weeks, they play Burnley, West Ham, Brighton. And obviously one of the extra games is Man United, but that's an extra game anyway. And then the only other difficult one's Spurs. So I don't know. He's blanked 3 times in a row. I wouldn't put too much worry into that. You could let it put you off captain a bit, but I think in terms of holding him, he's just so good. He's got penalties. It's such an easy way to top up your score. I'm too worried about going without him. When I built this wildcard team, I had a Salah back route. As soon as enough of us sell Salah, you'll score 3 goals. Yeah, if Matip was back, I think that would help because Fabinho, unless they sign a centre back, Fabinho is not getting out of centre back, but at least Henderson will be back into midfield. That would help Salah. Not that he's gone and played loads of games at centre back, but the last game he played at centre back, and I don't think he did that badly as a centre back, to be honest, as a defender. Like, Southampton didn't really have too much of the ball, especially in the second half, but they just missed him from midfield. Okay, we'll do a few more questions. Will Phillips play for Liverpool? Not guaranteed. because Reece Williams could play instead. They could play Henderson centre back. When do we find out when the next double game weeks are? Well, unless some game weeks suddenly get randomly like thrown in somewhere, it probably won't be until game week 24. What can stop you from bench boost? Play injuries, I guess. For me, anyway. Cavani over Antonio. I just don't know if Cavani will start both the games in the double. Just don't know. The problem with playing Cavani, right? And I do think we not deserve necessarily, but we could have scored more goals last night. We created enough for Martial and Cavani to score at least one each. But the thing is, once you play Cavani, Martial has to play left and then Rashford has to play right. Whereas Martial and Rashford both want to play left, or Martial wants to play up front. So you kind of have to mix things around a bit. So, and I don't think it's necessary for Solskjaer. Like, we've done okay with that. Obviously, got the win last night, but I don't know. I don't think. For me, I don't know how Man United are going to line up against Liverpool, because Pogba's been playing really well, right? Wherever you want to say it's because of the January transfer window or not, he's been playing really well, and so you can play him kind of on the left, but then Rashford will have to play on the right, and Martial and Cavani up front. But I think at least to start with, they'll play Martial up front and they'll play Rashford left, because they'll want Rashford's pace up against Trent. And Fred and McTominay are definitely going to play. So I think there's a chance that Pogba misses out, and it could just be Rashford, Martial, Greenwood front three or something like that. But what do I know? I ain't Solskjaer. But Fred and McTominay are definitely starting. Like, there's no doubt about that. Matic injury potentially last night, it doesn't matter. He was never starting against Liverpool. Martial let me down badly last night. He was just unlucky. I don't know. I know people get frustrated owning him, and he hasn't been great at scoring this season so far. But he did get himself into some good positions. There was just a couple of times where he just like put your foot through it. There was one chance in the second half, I think, where he was so casual on the shot. But I can't remember if he was offside or someone in the build-up was offside anyway. But yeah, he should just put his foot through it. And in the first half, there was that shot over the bar with his left foot. It just, I mean, if it had been on his right, maybe it would have been a different story. But yeah, it just didn't fall right, did it? Cavani's experience, yeah. I mean, Cavani's obviously done well. He's obviously a good player. That's a good point, yeah. Martial did kind of go off late in the game. He might be injured. So it could be Rashford left, Cavani through the middle, Greenwood or whoever on the right, yeah. Yeah, no, fair point. Martial could be out. In which case, Cavani probably would play. That means I could have had Cavani. If I could still have Cavani. Can I afford Cavani and Salah instead of Antonio and Salah? Might be able to, you know. Okay, let's see if we've got any a few more questions. Yeah, I completely forgot he went off. I can't remember who came on. It was Chu and Zebby, wasn't it? Is it worth taking a -8 to get another? I think whenever anyone talks about whether a hit is worth it to bring in a double gaming player, it depends who you're bringing in. Like for a defender, they've got to be pretty attacking, because straight away if you take a -4, you're wiping the clean sheet. If it's an attacker, it's maybe a bit different, but it's going to depend who. Like, if Leeds games were on, like, for example, I'm probably going to do Kane and Son to Antonio and Salah. It gets me 2 double game week players, so I get 2 extra games for 4 points. But would I take another 4 points to do Saka to Grealish or Saka to Rafinha if Leeds were definitely playing twice? I don't know if I would. Not even sure if I would. Of course I got 3 United, yeah. I'm just an idiot. I'm just an idiot. Ignore me. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I keep forgetting I got double defence, because I wasn't originally going for that. I don't know any further. I don't know any further news on Vardy. Although, saying that, I thought Leicester's press conference was today, but I don't think there's been any news on it so far. So we'll have another team news live stream on Friday probably. So we'll keep an eye out for Vardy news. I've not seen anything. If anyone in the chat has seen stuff, let me know. but I'm not sure I have. Yeah, I've got 3 Man United. I know, I completely missed it. I was selling Son and Kane versus Sheffield United. Not as concerned as I am about not having Salah, to be honest. That was always the plan. To be honest, the only reason I've got Son and Kane is because they played Fulham. If they didn't, right, if that Villa versus Spurs game had been on, I probably wouldn't have had any Spurs players in my wild card. Yeah, postponements, I don't know if we're going to know them. We have to just wait, right? No one knows that. They're not going to tell us now that, yes, you will find out tomorrow. I mean, they might do that, but they haven't so far. Who will take the penalties for Leeds and Southampton? Great question. I assume Danny Ings still for Southampton, and Bamford is on penalties for Leeds until he misses. That's why Cleek, never know. I'm never going to be able to pronounce that. Lost them because he missed. Vardy, Adams, McCarthy, 75%. Is this a risk? Well, I wait until the press conferences. They could all be fine. You got triple leads. Yeah, it's like this is the thing right now. There's just such higher variance with all the fixtures. Hopefully, we'll get to a point in the next few weeks where there's not any postponements, but it could be the case. Like I've already talked about this before on my own streams on my own channel that. I took out De Bruyne and Watkins. Then I was annoyed because their fixtures got rearranged. Then Kane's got called off. Then suddenly I've got no City because they haven't got a double game week. Because suddenly they've got a double game week. And then I've wildcarded to get rid of Villa and Leeds players. So if Leeds players play, I'm going to be annoyed at that of Rafinha. But if they don't play twice, then I'm glad that I got rid of Calvert-Lewin, Grealish, Rafinha and Dallas, right? So, but the thing is, as soon as there's more rearrangements, I could be screwed again, and so could anyone else. Like it's just harsh this season, but it's the season we've got. So if we want to keep playing it, just got to take what gets thrown at us, I guess. And some people are going to be more affected at times than others, and then that could reverse next time, right? Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of some of the spammers. Don't worry, I'm keeping an eye out. Is it worth bringing in players from teams that haven't played as many games? City, for example, played 2 less games. Yeah, potentially. They've had a bit more of a rest. I think you've got to take into account, though, teams like City would have obviously played in Europe as well. But then you can look at it on an individual basis. So players like De Bruyne, for example, quite a lot in Europe. So I think you've got to look at it as a whole. I don't think you can just say they've played 2 less games, therefore get them, because they've played Europe, but they're more likely to also play in the cup games, right? Like, West Ham, for example, played quite a few first teamers in the last FA Cup game. So I don't think you can kind of blanket answer that. What is the worst points you got on one single player? There was a week where virtually every game got called off because of the weather, and I think only Tevez played for me. So I had one player or something like that. Werner from the Chelsea attack, considering they play Fulham Leicester. I like it, although I wouldn't say that Leicester's a good fixture necessarily. They can be tricky to play on their day. All right, I'm going to leave it there, I think. Thanks for tuning in. Don't know how many Q&As we'll do on this channel, but from time to time, I will be on a line on here. We'll be back tomorrow with team selection and Scoutcast and team news on Friday and Breakfast Club on Saturday. So plenty more to come. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and the like button if you've enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed chatting for the last 45 minutes, appreciate it. Obviously, we'll probably have some more news and stuff about injuries throughout this week for the press conferences, and obviously when we've seen tonight's games been played, big games tonight. I don't know about you. I've got 5 players tonight: Kane, Son, and triple Man City. And obviously we'll finish off tomorrow. So plenty more content to come. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and catch you again soon. Have a good day.